Welcome everyone, this is Zozo Stock Watch, and let's get ready for the week ahead, October 30th through November 3rd. The new month is coming for November, starts on Friday. Big push up in the QQQ on Friday, up almost 3% for the day, powered up by Amazon, which was up 13% for the day on Friday. Google, big pop in that name, up almost 5% in Google. Microsoft, big pop on their earnings, up 6% for the day. And Intel, powering up the semiconductors and the QQQ, up over 7% for the day on Friday. So the big moves there on those tech names for Friday, and big earnings came out. And a very nice job there by those companies, and looks like this market just wants to keep going. So let's go ahead and take a look at the markets. We'll get into the markets right now. The SPY for the day on Friday was up 0.82% for Friday. For the week, we'll go ahead and take a look. For the week, it was up fractionally on the SPY. The Dow Jones Industrials, the Dow 30, that was up fractionally also for the week, 0.45%. The NASDAQ and the Qs, we'll take a look at the Qs. For the week, they powered up about a plus 1.70%, so about 2% there on the QQQ. And if you want to take a look at the NASDAQ itself, we'll take a look at that for the week, and we were up 1.9% for the week on the NASDAQ. For the week, we'll take a look at the IWM. We're actually down a fraction on the IWM, and then the IWC. That was down fractionally also, about 0.5% for the IWC for the week. If we go ahead and look at the SMH, though, that was up over 2% for the week. Big names like NVIDIA and Intel pushing that up. IBB didn't fare as well this week. We were down 5% for the week on the IBB, and Celgene was a major cause of that. One thing to look at, though, we had copper down for the week, down about 2% for the week. If we look at the XLK, this is the tech sector ETF, and that was up over 2% for the week. SOCL, social media, that was up 2% for the week. USO powered up for the week, up almost 4% for the week. And if we look at oil, XOIL, the WTI, light sweet crude oil, that was up 4% for the week. And we're coming up to that 54, 55 spot on oil, as you can see on this weekly chart. And for the USO, you see we're starting to break out here and trying to get back over that 11 spot on the weekly chart. If we go ahead and look at that on the daily chart, you can see the breakout over this 1075 spot on the USO. And XOIL, light sweet crude, WTI, breaking out over this 53 area here. So nice pop there on WTI. We'll also go through some of the other markets too. We'll take a look at for the week, we had GLD down about 0.5%. If we go ahead and look at silver, silver was down about over 1% for the week on silver. So a little bit of weakness in copper, silver, and gold for the week so far. The dollar was up for the week, 1.36%. So that might have been some of the reason why gold and silver were down, because the dollar popped 1.36% for the week. If we go ahead and look at the volatility index, though, we got, for the week, we got a little bit of a pop, and then we pulled right back down, and we're right back down below 10 again for the VIX volatility. So complacency once again. You see this on the daily chart for the VIX. We're getting these pops up to 13, not even up to 17 in the past, but about up to 13 and pulling right back off from it. And you see we have some lows here around that 9 area. And back here in, back here in July, we were as low as 8.84 on the VIX. So, maybe we're headed back down to at least 9 on the VIX, and complacency after those earnings from Amazon, Intel, Google, and Microsoft. Like we said, the IBB didn't fare as well. You see here the IBB was actually up for the day on Friday. And maybe, a nice candle forming here off of the 150 SMA and trying to hold above this 310 area on the IBB. So we're going to have to see, you know, what if this candle confirms, if we get a push up on the IBB. So we'll be watching that. And you know, if we look at the IWM on the daily now, we're trying to break out over that 150, you know, resistance area, 150.40, 150.50 spot. We came down, we held support at that 147.25 spot, and now we push back up over the 10 SMA on the IWM. IWC also trying to turn back up, but still a little bit under the 10 SMA, still below the 20 SMA, so below these other fast moving averages, but back over the 5 EMA on the yellow line that you see there. If we look at the Qs, you know, on the daily chart, like we said, we had this big pop, you know, 152 resistance now. The highs on Friday were 151.52, so we'll have to watch that now on Monday if we can break out above that, or are we going to come back down and retest those lows of about 149.20 on this candle here. So about 149.20 is the low from Friday on the QQQ. Let's also take a look at the transports on the daily chart here. You see we held down around this 176 spot on the IYT. And we'll have to see, you know, if this is going to power back up come, you know, Monday and the week ahead. So keep your eyes on the transports as we are starting to get back over the 10 SMA and the 20 SMA. We do have that resistance up at that 180, 182 area for the IYT, but is back over the 10 SMA. If we look at it on the weekly chart, you know, we never really broke down. We never retested the 10 SMA on the IYT. If we go ahead and look at ROBO, which is the Global Robotics Automation Index ETF, you see this is powering up 1.11% for the week. If we look at it on the daily chart, basically breaking out again on ROBO. ROBO, and bots, the other artificial intelligence ETF. We had this two-stick pullback on the daily, and we are holding above the 20 SMA on BOTZ. And if you go ahead and look at it on the you know, weekly chart, you see the nice climb that this has had. Maybe a little bit overextended at this time. And so we might, you know, see if we can get, you know, another pullback in BOTZ, or is it going to hold above this, you know, 20 SMA and around that 2250 area for BOTZ. We'll also take a look at some of the other ETFs. We'll look at HACK. And this keeps, you know, pops, pulls back. If we look at it on the weekly chart to kind of smooth things out, you know, we did break out here and we are holding the 10 SMA. And we'll go ahead and look at some of the names in there. FireEye, you know, had a pop on some takeover chatter on Friday, but gave it all back. Still having trouble trying to get back over the 20 SMA. Palo Alto Networks, kind of taking a little bit of a dive here, down 2%. On Friday on that name, and Cyber also pulled back from the 100 SMA, and FTNT, you know, that one just kind of gave it up. But you know, so not too good, not too impressed with the HACK ETF, even though it is holding up. The names that make up HACK not doing too well, so we'll have to see how that's going to fare in the coming weeks there. If we go ahead and look at SLX, the steel ETF, and that's such names as US Steel and Zeus, also TMST, AKS, CLF. So all these names, you know, they look like they were starting to turn back up, and then CLF had their earnings and the stock just gave it up on Friday. US Steel also kind of rolling over here on that name. ZEUS, another leader in that area, pulling back, trying to hold on to the 50 SMA in that name. And STLD, which is probably the strongest out of all the steel stocks, pulling back to about the 5 EMA on STLD. Stocks for the week were First Solar was up 21% for the week. Amazon, like we mentioned, was up 12% for the week. Microsoft up 7% for the week on Microsoft. Intel, this one was up 10% for the week on Intel, 10% for the week. Twitter, big winner this week, up 21% in Twitter. TYHT up 43% for the week. TYHT. GCAP was up 20% for the week. AET, which has takeover rumors or chatter about it from CVS. CVS making a $200 bid offer out there for Aetna, AET. This stock was up 8% for the week. SAVE, one of those, the discount airline, up 9% for the week. PHM up 7% for the week. Home builder there on Pulte. Big push up on PHM, up 7% for the week. Some of the worst stocks for the week. Expedia, a lot of the travel sector got hit. Expedia down 19% on their earnings. TRVG, Trivago followed suit, down 30% for the week. Trip, down 8% for the week. Celgene in the biotech sector, down 19% for the week on Celgene. HA, down 19% for the week. That's an airline. ALK for the week, down 16% for the week. AMD took a hit after their earnings, down 14% for the week. NBR, one of the oil and gas drilling names, didn't fare so well with oil moving up, and that was down 17% for the week on NBR. CMG, down 15% for the week on CMG. SOHU, down 14% for the week on SOHU after their earnings. WHR after their earnings, and also Sears not going to sell their products any longer, was down 12% for the week on Whirlpool. Big hit there. JCPenney, they warned on their earnings, and that was down 14% Friday, and for the week down 14%. Macy's down 7%, another retailer there, and Merck down 9% for the week after their earnings. So a lot of hits there in the in some of the big names there in pharma. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the top winners for Friday. DAIO, First Solar, GCAP, AXTA, PLPM, TVTY, ALGN, OASM, MB, Amazon, TOCA, NAVB were some of your top gainers for Friday trading. Top losers, courtesy of the Trade Exchange, we had PZXR, EFII, EXPE, INT, IRCP, UVXY, which is that volatility ETF, ALKS, Mattel's after their earnings took a big hit, Merck, like we mentioned, CERN, JP, and Baidu also down for the week. BIDU symbol there. In your unusual call activity for the week that passed, for call activity we had AAL, Box, BYD, MDCO, Delta Airlines, DAL, Verizon, FTI, MU, Micron, OSUR, CHK, and this is also provided by the Trade Exchange. In our unusual put activity, we had W, Teva, Mankind, and Merck for put activity. So that's your options activity for the week that passed, and also for Friday. For your fear and greed index, currently now we're at about 73. We're as high as about 98, 95, and we've pulled back off of that. So around 73 on the CNN Money Fear and Greed. Go ahead and take a look at the performance chart for the S&P 500. We had XLY, that was up. We had the S&P 500, that was up for the week. We had energy, XLE down, consumer staples, XLP down. We had XLF up for the week, XLV down, XLI, XLB was up, XLRE, that's the real estate, and XLK was also up, that's technology, XLU, utilities up. So nice little pop here in the utilities, but you can see what's kind of leading us on the S&P, the ETFs there. All right, in biotech, Barron's came out this weekend, kind of a little bit of a defense of Celgene and some of the biotech names. So we'll have that Celgene on watch for sure to see if they want to bounce it. But Barron's out, talking about the biotech bargain bin, and names that were mentioned were Amgen, Celgene, and Biogen were three names, and Gilead, G-I-L-D, was also mentioned in the article over the weekend. All right, so now we have, let's get ready for the week ahead, and what a busy week we do have coming up. All right, if we go ahead and just look at the earnings coming up for Monday, you can see here, and I'll show you a visual of this too, just for Monday though. You have a ton of earnings coming up. For economic information though, for the week, some of the big things is the employment situation. That'll be out on Friday. So that's your non-farm payrolls at 8:30 on Friday. You have the FOMC meeting, which begins on Tuesday, and then they make their announcement if they're going to raise rates on Wednesday. There's no presser for this one. All right, so there's no 2:30, Janet Yellen interview. So it's just going to be the FOMC meeting announcement on Wednesday. And then we have Fed Speak, William Dudley on Thursday, Fed Speak also on Thursday at 6:15. And then we have Neil Kashkari on Friday for Fed Speak. And then for economic information, the usual things coming out, but a little bit heavy on the economic front. So as you can see here from the trade exchange calendar, and so keep your eye on your economics coming out for the week ahead. If we go ahead and take a look at that visual for the earnings, still a big group of earnings coming out for the week ahead, as you can see here. We have our earnings before the bell, after the bell Monday. We have big names coming out for the week. Facebook, Apple going to be on Thursday, Facebook on Wednesday, Tesla is going to be on Wednesday after the bell, Groupon be before the open on Wednesday. Let's see what other big names we have. Blue Apron, the latest IPO, will be out before the bell on Thursday. Let's see, we have Teva coming out before the bell on Thursday, but the big names, Facebook, Tesla, Apple, I guess you can throw GoPro, a lot of people will be watching that, Fitbit, Qualcomm, FireEye, a cybersecurity name there, FEYE, will be coming out with earnings on Wednesday after the bell, and Yelp also on Wednesday after the bell. So a lot of big names coming out this week, so keep your eye on the earnings coming out. For your earnings calls, you see for Monday we have a big group of earnings calls coming out, and then for the next day, Tuesday, it gets even heavier for your earnings calls. Wednesday, and this is courtesy of Earnings Cast, Wednesday, big huge day for earnings calls also. So and then Thursday you also have a lot of big earnings calls coming out on Thursday. So just a huge busy week with the FOMC meeting, and with also the employment situation on Friday. So that'll be big. This FOMC meeting will be big. And then the visual on all these earnings. AK Steel coming out before the open on Tuesday. Pfizer, Lumber Liquidators, symbol LL, BP, symbol BP, Aetna, AET. So going to be a very busy week for earnings and economic information, and also for Fed Speak, and to find out if they're going to be raising those rates on when, and we'll go from there. So that's your Let's Get Ready for the week ahead. Thank you so much for listening. There will be a Stocks to Watch video coming out next, so stay tuned for that, and thank you for following on YouTube.